Dude, crazy freaking times, huh?
It's surreal. Doesn't even begin to cover it. I've used the line that it's like out of a movie, except that it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like somewhere between a zombie apocalypse and the freaking Armageddon. You go, when did everything like go freaking like off a deep end, a cliff to just go, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I know that if any of us were told 4 weeks ago, hey, by the way, this is what's going to happen in the world, and it's all going to happen in 3.5, 4 weeks, we would have gone, gee, dude, science fiction, just go stick it up your ass.
Exactly. And you would have been dismissed accordingly.
Yeah.
But it's just been a crazy time, and now it's time to think about the right thing and the wrong thing to do during this time. I've been thinking about this, David. I know you've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
About what brands should be doing now, what they shouldn't be doing now, but also preparing for the inevitable, which is we're going to come out of this.
Totally. I mean, it took, I mean, I've said it in a post or two. It's, I think, and you and I talked about this before we jumped on. For about 3 days. And I think it started like last Thursday for me. I didn't know what the hell to say. I was literally, do I acknowledge the feeling of despair? Do I go down the sympathy road, which to me felt very wrong, adding to the hysteria and the freak out felt wrong. Trying to put an optimistic, positive spin felt wrong. Nothing felt right. So then I started to have to look at it. I think it literally took me, which you know me long enough, it does not take me a long time to respond or figure things out. And for me to be stumped for 2.5 to 3 days before I could actually figure out, okay. And the thing I came to was, this is not an if, it is a when. We will come out of this. We have survived 2 world wars. We have survived AIDS. We've survived 2008. We've survived the Depression. We've survived all these things. We are survivors. And whether that we is the United States or whether the we is us as humanity, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Take your pick. But the bottom line is we will survive. So that was the only thing, that was my starting point. It's not an if, it's a when and how fast.
Yeah, right. It is inevitable. We will survive, right? Which I know some people may be hearing this going, it sounds like a cliche or a song, but it's the truth. And now's the time, and as you and I have talked about this before we got in front of a camera, was what are brands doing? And I can tell you some of the stuff that I'm seeing from my end, in terms of, I get PR pitches and I'm getting, unfortunately, far too many that are capitalizing.
That will be the biggest misstep. Those that are taking advantage, that are being glibly ha ha ha, or taking the real short-term approach, saying, oh, like especially those that are leaders and employers saying, you're dispensable. That is going to stick with them. That will set a stage that will come back on them, and they will pretty much be permanently tarnished at that point.
Exactly. And just like those other crises that you just mentioned, there's always things that come out of that are permanent changes. You know, like, for example, one I keep thinking about with this one is paid sick leave, right? How not every employer offers paid sick leave, which is a disgrace, right?
Yeah.
And how, some are being forced now to face their own demons, kind of thing, going, I think we need to offer. Well, of course you do, right? And these are the companies, these are the brands, these are the individuals that will not come out of this the way they went into this.
So especially the organizations where you have the incongruity of, let's say, top C-level or CEOs that are getting, 500x, 2000x what anybody else is earning, and not saying, you know what, I'm taking my cut, I'm backing you up. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to provide you a place of refuge and stability when there's a lot of instability. And so, it's no one's saying it's easy. It's not easy, but it is literally going to separate the true leaders as people, as brands, from those that are kind of opportunistic and taking a really, if you're taking advantage of this, you're opportunistic, it's brand and business suicide.
I agree, and it's to your point about what you wrote about the recovery, right? It's definitely coming, and those that I think you used the phrase, if you're already not planning for it, you're already behind 8 ball.
Completely.
And I agree 1,000%, right? It's like the short-sightedness, right, of not realizing that we're going to come out of this. And I empathize with brands and businesses going, we have to live in the present, but we also have to live in the future.
Always.
Right?
Always. Yeah.
Right.
The most stable brands that we all trust and remain loyal to are the ones that are based on a future. They anticipate what's to come. They provide comfort with the shifts. They're ready to prepare, and they're nimble enough. The ones that are just trying to look for the short term, the worst thing that can happen right now would be a freaking hard-nosed numbers person running anything, because they're only going to look at numbers, they're going to look at profit, loss of sales. That is a suicide mission. You need someone who actually thinks of people internal to the organization, people external to the organization. That is the anchor. The other metrics we can manage through the metrics, but people are not dispensable. I don't give a. The people who talk about, AI. You know what? AI was created by human beings. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I have to remind that of. Excuse me. AI is not something out there that's come upon us. We put it there, folks. If it's stupid, that's because you're stupid. If it's helpful, that's because you were helpful. And if it is not beneficial to the overall ecosystem that we all live in, then you're the idiot, not it. Okay? I mean, it's just wild.
It will only. It's a great point. And at its most basic, we're on laptops, we're on computers. They only do what we tell them to do.
Exactly. It's like, and that's why I remember, I'll just say this and we can touch on other stuff, but I remember when people were like, so what programs do you use? Like when I would do an illustration, what programs do you use? So what does it matter? Did you ask the Beatles what microphone did they use because the microphone made them sound good? I mean, it's the technology doesn't do shit. It's a tool that in the hands of talent will be put to good use.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're going down a little bit of a different rabbit hole, but I think it's worth mentioning that I'm sure there are people who have been laid off or are thinking they may be laid off, or whatever the case may be, are thinking, I may never get my job back because of a robot or because of AI, right? Or is my employer going to use this situation to replace me with a machine?
And you know what? If you're asking those questions, you already have a somewhat toxic relationship. Right. That should not even be in your world. You should be, I know that my employer has my back. It should be reciprocal, and that's the whole thing, because we're here to serve one another. Look, it's not easy. It's going to be it's going to be challenging. It will go on for a week or 2 or 3 or 6 or 8. None of us has the answer when we're over it. But I'm already seeing.
This is the real-time video we're doing here, guys. But that's the rawness of this.
Exactly.
It's not scripted. This was not staged, but that's the point of this.
Exactly. But anyway, the thing is that we, it's going to be whatever the hell it is, but we will be through it.
It is, and even before this hit, David, I was and I preach this, and I'm always fascinated by it, and you know me well enough too. You want to just say, and I know you're going to agree with this, you want to just say to those in charge of brands and marketing and even the numbers guys, consumers are a lot smarter than you think. And what I'm getting at is they know you need to sell products to survive, right? They're not stupid. We're not, and by the way, we're all consumers. So we know that, right? So now when we need you to really understand and empathize with us and not hit us over the head with sales pitch after sales pitch, right? This is the time, to your point, David, for the humanity side to come out.
Complete.
And yes, okay, we're going to take a hit. Consumers get that. We understand that, right? But the flip side is not even in discussion. The flip side is if you're going to try to make money off of human suffering.
Yeah.
And to what you just said is brand suicide.
Total. And and to me, and I wouldn't have said this 5 days ago, I think this is actually a mixed blessing. I think this is going to separate the true brands and companies and leaders that really value people, and that those are going to shine and come through it. And the ones that were just only looking at numbers and only doing lip service to being authentic and caring and this, I think it's a mixed blessing that it's really gonna shake out the real folks who are here we're in this together. We're all in this together.
Yeah, and for brands to think, and we can wrap up with this if you want, is for brands to think that post this, people will forget what you did during this.
Exactly.
They will remember even more so.
Well, it's like it's like, I mean, with 9/11, right? What the leaders, in New York did, what the leadership that was displayed by Giuliani at the time. I mean, people who were there, that's like they provided leadership. They said, we will survive, we will fight back, but you cannot kill a dream, you can't kill our spirit. And people remember that, right?
Absolutely.
People remember that forever.
That's almost 20 years ago with 9/11, and I'll throw out the cliche or the saying is those who forget history are doomed to repeat it.
Really, spot on. Could not be more spot on. It's true.
I mean, that's it, and that's it. And if you and I were standing in front of a room full of CEOs and CMOs and whatever. It's like, guys, we're all in this together. We're all human, right? But we know, David, you and I both know well enough that there'd be a pocket of those going, yeah, whatever. We still got to hit numbers. We still got to move product. We got to, the hell with this. We can put the public face of going, we care, right? But behind the scenes, we're still pushing product. We're still, you know what I mean? Those are the ones when the dust settles, and it will settle, and we will recover and come out of this. Those are the ones that are going to go, oh shit, and it's too late.
That's right. They were thinking in the short term. They didn't realize the long-term implications, and they forgot what truly mattered. I would conclude it with this. I would say that metrics are the reflection of our humanity, not the cause of our humanity. And that if we are truly caring, if we're truly humane, if we're truly providing leadership and we're truly providing a service, it will reflect and show up in the number of people that are loyal to us, that agree with us, that go through the tough times with us, and that bond will be stronger. It's like people who are in a battle or a war together. You never lose that bond.
I will end with something about relationships, right? Which is really at the most basic. This is what we're talking about. And there's enough sayings about whether it's one-to-one, like you and I, your family, your spouse, and your friends, or a brand and its consumers. It's about relationships. And when the best relationships are those that are when times are bad, right? Who's in your corner? Who's there, right? Who can you call at 2 a.m. when things are going bad, right?
You got it.
And that's what brands need to understand. When times are tough, which they clearly are, how you react It's no different than when if your brother or sister or spouse needs you in a time of need.
Totally. I have a connection who I know more as we're more than acquaintances, but we're not like tight, but someone whose father had just passed away. And the guy reached out to me and texted me and says, just really having a tough time. I said, what's up, man? And he told me, and he goes, for some reason, I just felt like I could reach out to you, which blew my mind, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I said, absolutely. I said, look, my mother's passed, my father's passed. And I understand. I get what can happen when that occurs and how unstabilizing it could be. And so I was just there, and basically he just said, I don't know why, but I felt that I could reach out to you. And that was like, that meant a hell of a lot to me. That was like, wow.
Now apply that to a brand relationship. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what they don't, when we get on my soapbox and we don't have enough time, but it's the same thing. It's the same principle.
Totally. And that's why I'm just sharing things, these days that are, some that are designed to just provide a little bit of, a little bit of levity, not stupid, what I call animal house, but just a little bit of lightheartedness. It's challenging, but something that provides context, provides perspective, and anyway,
and it's a relief.
Complete,
relief.
Totally.
Yeah. Thank you for this is, hopefully you guys got some benefit out of this.
Absolutely. And so the bottom line is, Steve is a Philly dude, total East Coast. I'm, of course, for those that, if you happen to be just discovering me for the first time, I'm a native New Yorker, and so the thing is now I'm under witness protection program in the Midwest. But anyway.
Bye, guys.
All right.